All right. What is up, everyone? What is up? Oh, thank you guys for the hearts. I see it there. I see it there. All right, let's lower this very nice music down. Okay, so we're gonna get straight to it. I just want to do a very quick, kind of good summary live stream of what happened there today and go over the tickers from this week's report. And if you guys are wondering what report I'm talking about, for any of you guys who are just a subscriber to this channel or who have just been lingering in this channel for a while, I'm talking about the CFO Swinger Watch Report. You guys should have heard of it before. If you guys have been with us for a while now, I've been a subscriber to this channel for a while. But if you guys are interested in becoming a reader, make sure you guys take a look down below in the description box. It is the very second link if you guys are curious as to what it is. But I'll give you guys more detail as to what it is if you guys don't know what it is at all later on in the stream, right near the end of the stream. Okay, so first of all, let's go over the very first official swing trade idea for this week, which is ISRG, Intuitive Surgical Incorporated. Okay, so this is a surgical robotics company, which is kind of, it's obviously one of the I would say it's the only leader in its industry, in its group, in its sector. Obviously those all mean different things, but I would say I'm saying it like that because it's literally a leader, right? It's one of the only standalone leaders out there regarding surgical robots, right? And ISRG is just the leading innovative company that develops these amazing surgical robots, and it's also one of the leading med tech companies. So to me, again, ISRG just clearly stands out as a very good company that has been providing immense amount of good value to shareholders, and at the same time providing very good products and services towards their clients and towards their clients as well. Okay, which is again hospitals and you know individual practices, I would assume, right? But you know, ISRG has been moving down for most of this year, and surprisingly, right, year to date, they are now in the red. They are negative 10.49% to the downside at the close of today at 469.07. So here is the main question. That is also the title of the stream. Do we dip buy this robotics stock? Okay, and that is an affirmative yes. Right, I don't see any other company doing as well as ISRG in the next 3 to 5 years. Yes, we're going to be seeing more AI involvement in surgical robots and just overall the overall robotics side. I mean, we've seen that infamous slide from NVIDIA's Jensen Huang's slideshow during one of his conferences, right, or one of his public events, and he showed that robotics is going to be the next steps for AI. And so yes, there's going to be some sort of AI integration into robotics that will most likely bring about new potential leaders in this area of surgical robots. But ISRG already has the cash, the R&D, the power of its own R&D, right, research and development to integrate AI and I don't know, any other software that could potentially bring about an even greater product for their surgical robots, right? So again, this is a leading company, right? There's no doubt about that, all right? And they have very little debt compared to the cash that they have on hand, the short-term investments, the assets. The assets are absolutely amazing, right? Their balance sheet looks really good. Okay, the debt to equity ratio is amazing as well. I've written all about this in the CFO Swinger Watch Report on the overall fundamental analysis on this ticker. So again, if you guys are curious about what that CFO Swinger Watch Report is, please make sure you guys take a look down below in the description box. Okay, so now from that fundamental perspective for ISRG, all right, obviously I want to dip buy, but where do we dip buy? This is where technicals come in, right? So like I've always said when I even began CFO here, we want to make sure we're mixing a good balance of fundamentals and technicals to provide us with a thorough and a clear outlook as to what the stock could be doing and what the company could be doing, right? And it can give us a better understanding as to where we can potentially put in an entry, right? A starter entry point for a specific company that we have in mind. And that's where we should be seeing, possible continuation of additions of entries for that specific stock, right? And obviously, technicals can come first as well if the technical chart comes into mind. But if you're looking for the longer term perspectives, you need to add a good healthy mix of fundamentals as well, right? And that's kind of what we want to do, and what we do here when we're looking at very good, valuable companies like this that are, I personally like to consider as a growth and value company here, since it is a part of the medtech and / healthcare industry and sector. But obviously, a lot of people will say it's a growth stock, which it is. This is a growth stock, obviously. But in my own personal preference, I would say it's a very nice mix of a growth and value stock, in my opinion. Even though they don't add or give dividends, right? Even though I think they have plenty of room to give dividends in the near-term future, right? But hey, who knows? Maybe they will in the next fiscal year, or maybe before the end of this decade. Who knows, right? So now, from the technical perspective, right, as we know, from the fundamentals perspective, it's obviously a great idea to try to add this company on any significant dips. Now, from a technical perspective, I find it pretty interesting to see that ISRG hasn't been able to significantly move away from April's lows. However, it shouldn't be a surprise as to why that hasn't occurred yet, because, well, if we just take a look at the monthly time frame, this is one of those stocks that have been moving to the top right corner of the screen every single time, right? I mean, every single time there's a large dip or even just sideways consolidation, it has continued to move to the top right every single time, okay, without fail. So for most of 2023 and 2024, it has been moving straight up. And so this very brief dip in April brought the price right back to the all-time high area right away, right? And so that's a very good explanation as to why we haven't really gone anywhere since April's lows, because it's still, from a monthly and weekly perspective, all the higher time frame perspectives, we are still consolidating. And so I would expect this consolidation to continue even potentially into the end of this year. And I wouldn't be mad about that, because again, if you were to accumulate shares, right, on the specific company, even though yes, it is very expensive, but I have to remind you guys, this one had a stock split, right, a 3-for-1 stock split, and then that should tell you guys how much of a great company this is, right? If it was able to, quote unquote, become expensive again, right? So, with ISRG, with such a good consolidation so far for this entire year, which is the reason why we are seeing a negative or red year-to-date performance, or about negative 10.49% performance at the end of today's close, is that we're just consolidating. And so if on the monthly time frame here, again, this is the largest time frame that I tend to look at, other than the quarterly time frame or the 3-month time frame, but I don't have to go there, but since I want to show you exactly what I want to show you on this monthly time frame, or I want to show you what I want to show you is on this monthly time frame. This 463 level that I've shown you guys in last night's report is still very much prevalent and significant on the monthly time frame, and that's all that matters, right? So it's a make or break level. If we break below 463, we will come back down to retest 432 and practically because of 425 flat, right? Because that was the April low, right? If you take a look on this monthly candlestick, the low of this month was 425.00, and if that were to happen, I also wouldn't be mad about that, because that will most likely give us a potential double bottom chart pattern as we pivot away from 425. Because again, that would be basically nearly a year's worth depending on if we break below 463 before the year ends, almost a year's worth of consolidation and pullback, which is really needed, right? After 2 years of moving straight to the upside, all the way to the right, top right corner of this screen, right? And so a year's worth of consolidation is nothing compared to the last 2 years worth of just straight up, right? And so we have to look at this from that perspective. So if you're, looking for very quick looking at ISRG, but this is more for all the longer term investors out there who have been scouting this stock, wondering what it will do in the near term future, and when you should be dollar cost averaging or when to get in for a fresh new long term position. Since again, this is a leading company in the overall robotics industry that is starting to burgeon and starting to really become a reality for the world, right? Not just for the markets regarding financial markets, but in the actual real world, right? Robotics. And so and you guys remember what I said there, excuse me guys, because I'll be talking about another robotic stock that is actually making waves in the real world, right? So ISRG has obviously been making practical usages of robotics with the surgical robots, and if you guys haven't seen them before, maybe some of you guys have, but I've seen them many times in the hospital long time ago, right? They've been around for a while now. I mean, they became public in 2000, right? So they've been doing this for a while. All right, that's my point here. So if they were to fall in line with the overall robotics hype, I would assume that ISRG would begin to climb back up higher around, at least by next year, if we were to, presumably, if we were to continue this consolidation for this entire fiscal year. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, I think mine is working good as well here. Okay, perfect. Okay, hey, thank you guys for 4 likes. Awesome. For anyone who's just joining in, we practically just began, but you guys didn't miss out some of the bulk of the information that I was giving out for ISRG, but that's okay. You guys can always watch the replay, as always, okay? And I highly recommend you guys to always revisit the replays of the streams, okay? Right, so with that being said, okay, a preferable entry point, well, you guys should have been reading this here as well since I've had it up this entire stream here, but a long bounce at 463 would be a great starter entry point on this monthly time frame or weekly or even a daily, right? I mean, you can see this critical significant support level on every single higher time frame, right? But based on the option flows, specifically the put sales that I've given you guys in the report, there is a possibility that we're forming a very, very good defensive line in the sand level at 463. And again, I highly recommend you guys to go back, for all the readers out there who is watching either the replay or in this live stream right now with me, I highly recommend you guys to go back to the report and look at the put sales, the strike of those put sales, and obviously we can see that there's some sort of a support area formed between, I would say 450 to 480, right? Around that range. There's a little hint there for anyone who is looking at the options chain for ISRG. But I've given everyone in the CFO Swinger Watch Report the exact, specific, unusual put sales that has occurred. So you guys can get your own good guesses by looking at the options chain for ISRG. But again, if you guys are curious as to what those exact put sale contracts are, make sure you guys become a reader today by clicking on the second link down below in the description box of the stream. Okay, so ISRG, if it continues to consolidate above 463, there's a high chance that we can be seeing a nice breakout over 480, which is again will be the next entry point over 480.10. Or if you guys can just wait a little bit, if you guys can be a little bit patient, you guys can just simply wait until the price actually moves over 480, which at that point we will be over the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMAs. Does that make sense? Right, and that'll be well, that'll be obviously telling us that the short-term trend is to the upside. All right. Okay, so with that being said, that is it for ISRG. Again, overall longer term, this is definitely a dip buy stock. It's a very good growth / value stock. Again, it's a growth stock. And I'm just thinking in my own head, I like to look at it as a growth and value stock. I would assume that in the near-term future, we'll be identifying this stock as more of a value stock as it continues to be a leading company in its surgical robots industry, okay? So don't get me wrong there. Okay, so next we're going to be going over the list that was in the report, and that first ticker in the list is TEM, which I carried over from last week's report, and thankfully I have chosen TEM very well last week and this week as well, because, well, look at this candlestick today, right? So after that complete kind of craziness that we saw, that downside selling that we saw in the early morning of today in the overall markets, TEM was barely down. In fact, it opened up very close to the previous day's open, so last Friday's open, and it barely dipped to the downside. And in fact, it held this very good, specific, significant whole number level, support level of $72, and that was the bounce entry point that I gave everyone as well. Okay, and I gave this these entry points last week as well. And so obviously, you know, you can either be accumulating shares every single time it reaches 72, or you can simply wait until we have a nice breakout over $79. Either way, this overall chart on the weekly time frame, massive IPO base, right? That's just itching to break out, right? Or you can simply say it's a massive ascending triangle as well, if you want to use these three pivot points, these higher low pivot points, all right? There's a massive ascending triangle, but again, overall, it's a base, right? And if it's able to break over 79 anytime by the end of this week or by next week, who knows? Maybe we'll be forming a nice flag here for the next couple of weeks as we allow the weekly 10 and weekly 21 SMAs here, the red line and light blue line respectively, to catch up. Then that's fine by me too, as long as we are able to break over 79 and have a very nice explosive move to the upside and potentially get towards the triple-digit share price number of 100. I am completely fine. So as you guys can clearly see, there's a reason why I've been adding this ticker in the NM list for the last 2 weeks, including this week, obviously. And obviously, I've been talking about it for quite some time. Well, for the month of August, actually, for all of August, and I've been pounding my fist on the table to take a look at this ticker to everyone. So very good stock here, very good earnings reaction as well. Post earnings reaction as well actually allowed the stock to rally up higher, and it's been able to again stick to highs, the current highs, and it's been able to stick to this very nice range between 72 and 79. And as you guys can clearly see on the weekly time frame, we have converted the 72 previous resistance level as into a new level of support. Right, that's a very good thing to see, and I really hope that we can continue to see that if we were to continue to consolidate sideways between 72 and 79. Okay, if we continue to consolidate by the end of this week and into next week, I would really like the price to continue to stay and stick between this 7-point range of 72 to 79. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Okay, so TEM, some very bullish call options positioning has occurred as well. I've given that to you guys in the Discord. I've given that given it to you guys in the report itself too. So make sure you guys take a look at that. All right, next is SERV. So this is the other robotic stock that I was telling you guys to. Well, I was telling you guys about this a couple weeks ago as well. in the Discord. And also, I want to put it in the report because of how great it looked. All right, so let me get some water here. Let's talk about how it went today. So, well, first of all, before I do that, so SERV is one of those companies that are actually showing its robots doing actual work in the real world. It's not just a figment of our imagination. It's not just an idea. It's not just the company building software, but they're doing both. They have the software and the hardware. So if you guys have noticed in any one of the metropolis cities that you guys can have in whatever state or country, for me in California and LA, huge city, right? I've been seeing these SERV robots everywhere, not just in downtown LA, but in just everywhere, right? Where there's a hub of restaurants, and they're picking up food and they're delivering it to homes and apartments that are relatively close to those the areas where these robots serve. Oh, that's kind of ironic, right? SERV is the ticker symbol for SERV robotics, right? So these robotics are literally serving meals, nice and hot meals or cold drinks or whatever it may be, to these homes, depending on, I believe they have a range of where they serve as well. So, you know, if you guys haven't seen them, maybe try visiting your local college, right? Your local big university or public university, and you guys will most likely see these robots rolling about. As students order stuff, and then they order from the dorm or towards their student apartments, etc. Right? So I feel like this is a very good company that knows what it's doing. It's basically the robotics version of DoorDash, right? Where the human to human interaction is not there, rather it's a human to SERV robotics interaction, right? And to be honest, these SERV robotics are very, very cute, right? If you guys haven't seen them, and you can always see them with some of them have flags. But all of them have these nice little eyes in the front that act as headlights too, so they can also operate in the dark. So these SERV robotics are really not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, right? And they're really building out the software and the hardware. And maybe, who knows, this company might start making humanoid robots as well, not just these four-wheeler robots that are essentially small, tiny cars that are going around on sidewalks, right, delivering food. And we might be seeing humanoid robots doing the deliveries. Who knows, right? In the far, far future, distant future, right? If they're not acquired by then, right? So SERV, I believe, this was also a company that initially gained recognition through the fact that nvda had invested into this company. I don't know if they're still in it or not, or if they have exited their stake in this company. But regardless of that, this company is still making some waves. However, I have also seen SERV executives, right? So people at the tippy top of the company selling shares. And some are, well, I believe most are planned sales. But even if those are planned sales, I just don't like how whenever executives continuously sell, right? Even if it's planned. I would rather see continued buying, insider buying, and planned buying rather than planned selling. Obviously, guys. I mean, why wouldn't we want to see the executives of the company who run the company buying shares of their company that they're running, right? Because it just shows further confidence for longer term investors. However, we've been seeing actually these insiders selling, right? So yeah, see, CFO sells shares to cover tax obligations. So these are planned sales. Again, most of them are planned sales, right? CFO. There's also been directors and other executives selling shares, right? But again, I don't really try to pay attention to these, but you know, when we are dealing with such a you know, volatile and tech, very tech focused, next gen, innovative company like SERV, it just doesn't do well with the overall optimism that is needed for a company like this to thrive and see some very good share price progression. And that's the reason why today it was a well, obviously most of a lot of AI tech stocks got hit today morning, and SERV unfortunately was one of them too. However, I would say that it was actually not that bad. The selling volume wasn't too bad compared to last week's, right? Selling volume from Thursday and Friday, even though we did end up with the higher volume today, obviously because we had a nice gap down and we revisited a very significant level here. So there's a combined volume of buying as well that added into today's slightly increased volume compared to last Friday. And so I'm pretty sure there were some people trying to defend this double-digit share price number of $10. So SERV Robotics, right? So people are still trying to defend the share price to stay at this two-digit number, and I would love to see that happening, right? I really wish that we can start to move away from this $10 level. We've been staying at this level for the past 3 months, right? And we've been really trying to keep it there. And there was even a shakeout here of weak buyers at this $10 level until we came right back up over it. And so that clearly indicates to me that people who are long-term investors, or just people who are wanting to be long on this stock and just believe in this company because of the fact that they already have working robots in the field, right? Again, this is a company that has both the software and the hardware. It's not just software. They're just not talking the talk, all right? But they're walking the walk with their robots. They're cute, very, very cute four-wheeler robots, right? That are actually making deliveries. These people are really want to believe in them, and I want to believe in them too. So, you know, whether it's either a potential M&A contender or the fact that maybe they can continue to grow as a company, whatever it is, I really want the bulls to continue to use this $10 level, whole number level, this double-digit share price to be at a great line of defense, right? This great line in the sand. Defensive support level that we can continue to hold. And today, that was exactly what happened. The low of the day was 9.96, and we snapped right back over the $10 level, and we ended up closing at $10.29, right? $10.29 there, and we were fortunately able to close over the daily 10 SMA and slightly below, which is 1 cent below the daily 21 SMA. Okay, and so with the tight coiling action of my SMA. So if you guys can't see it, let me actually hide the price action, right? If I hide the price action here, if I can do it, I don't know why it's not letting me. Let me actually reload this chart. Yeah, save and reload. But I really want to show you guys my SMAs coiling here. So let's hopefully it loads here. TradingView has kind of been slow here for the last week or so. Oh, there it is. There it is. And will it work? Yes. Okay. So do you guys see this? Right, just on the SMAs alone, this is very, very good coiling. This is what I want to see. Whenever I see my 4 and every single one of my daily SMAs coiling like this, right? Just super coiling. The daily 10, daily 21, daily 50, and the daily 200 coiling like this together. I'm expecting a very impulsive move of the price. And so obviously I'm biased to the upside because of the price action that we see here, but I will also try to get use the whatever price action it throws at me. If it decides to break down, well, I will take advantage of that, right? It'll be a very impulsive move to the downside if we break below $10. But again, I am still biased to the long side because I have still yet to see more evidence that we'll be trying to break below $10 here, and we'll be having an impulsive move to the downside. But again, if we do see that, I'll take advantage of it, and we'll probably get out around $8. Right, that'll be my profit target there for any type of short. Does that make sense? Hey, what's up, Joel? What's up? Hope all is well. Thank you. I am very, very well. Hope all is well with you as well. So, yeah. So that's the second to last ticker in the MM list. So SERV There is also a current short interest percentage of 25.35%. Again, if you guys have been reading this as well, you guys can read it. And if you guys want to know what option contracts I have put in the CFO Swinger Watch Report, make sure you guys become a reader of the report. You guys will not regret it. Okay. Again, you guys can look at the link down below in the description box. It is the very second link, and you guys can see how to become a reader. And if you guys do become a reader, you guys will also become an automatic member of the private CFO Discord community. You guys will become a private member and gain full access to the entire Discord as well. Okay, so again, you guys have that opportunity. The ball is in your court, right? So again, for any of the readers out there that is currently watching the stream right now or the replay, make sure you guys check out the MM list again and go to that section of the report and read it. Read this, most importantly, right? And also read the option contracts that I want to be looking at for this ticker, okay? And the swing trade idea. All right, and last but not least, okay, we have MDT. I have mentioned this earlier as well with ISRG. This is yet another medtech stock. And so this one obviously is not a leading medtech stock company or medtech company. ISRG is overwhelmingly the company that has the overall economic moat of the surgical robotics industry and the overall medtech industry. So obviously, you know, ISRG is not going to be taken over by MDT, but hey, who knows? Right? Either way, MDT. I have been looking at this for the last 2.5 years. Okay, and finally, I think we can potentially have a very nice breakout. Look at the just look at this. I don't think my words will say enough as to what we're seeing here with our own naked beautiful eyes that we all have, right? Look at this. This is the monthly time frame. Look at this massive base, right? For the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, right? And so if this were to break to the upside, it will provide a multi-month move, maybe an entire year's worth of a move to the upside. And that is what I'm banking on for MDT. And that's the reason why I started my position literally right at market open. And that's exactly what I said in the report as well. All right. So if you guys missed it, for any of the readers out there of what I was planning to do for MDT, I was being serious, right? I used the exact option contracts that I gave you guys in the report for this ticker in the MM list. So please check it out if you guys forgot about this from last night. So please read this as well and read the option contracts that I provided for MDT. I told you guys I was immediately going to buy this at market open, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, I gave you guys the plan and I executed today. All right, so hopefully I am not burned again like the multitude of times that I was burned every single time I tried to buy this over $89 here. You guys can see how many times I was burned here, multiple times. Okay, you guys can make fun of me. All right. Okay, so the last 2.5 years. Okay, so that's what happened with MDT. Okay, but hopefully we can be seeing some very good price action. All right, I'm very hopeful because overall the monthly time frame, the weekly. Okay, look at these. I mean, the SMAs are clearly telling us that things are changing now, right? After 2.5 years of straight sideways consolidation. Okay, so you know, I'm being hopeful. I'm praying that this position goes well, right? And I'm willing to add on to it as we break over 93. But let's see how it goes. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of it, guys. I also want to go over another ticker, which is VE. So this is one of the tickers we were looking at back in October. What was it? Not October. It was in I think it was around mid-February or late February here. Yeah, very nice flag that began to form, and then we had that nice dip in April, obviously because of the overall terror scare that we got and the overall market crash that we got in April. But this one has been on a tear. I mean, massive move. It's absolutely ripped through IPO highs and the previous all-time high, sitting at discount stick here at $44.95. And so if you were to come back down to retest, $45 here, I wouldn't mind dip buying it like crazy. I think is the correct term, right? Maybe if it came back down to retest the IPO highs at $38, oh, I'm buying even more, right? But this is looking extremely bullish, and let me give you guys a freebie as well, okay? Because on what do you call it? Let me see here. I'm gonna open up the options chain here for BE. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the exact unusual buys that we've seen on BE, and they're unusual too because they're very out the money. Okay, so let me show you guys here. I'm going Yahoo here. Okay, so obviously, we need to consolidate here. I mean that's a simple fact. I mean, take a look at the RSI on the weekly. Right, we're very much overbought. We hit a high of 85.88. Okay, so and even on the daily, we're still very much overbought. But very good dip today. A healthy daily 10 SMA, but at some point we're gonna revisit the daily 21 SMA. Now, I wouldn't mind if you do revisit the daily 21 SMA, which is again eerily close to this previous all-time high level of $45. Okay, I wouldn't mind starting a long-term position here, right? A starter entry point. Okay, using equity. Okay, and I'm trying to make it a little bit more accurate there. Okay, or maybe even more. 45.00. I'd like to be a little bit there it is, perfect. Okay, our professionalism. Okay, so this 45 to 38 area, if you consolidated here, oh, I wouldn't mind that at all. All right. Okay, so now let me show you guys the unusual option contracts that we've been seeing. Okay, for BE, which has been absolutely amazing. Okay, so first of all, oh, well, I don't know why it's not loading here. So if you go to, where is it? Ah, here it is. The end of the month. Okay, if you go towards the end of the month, let me straddle this here. Of this month, specifically the September 26th expiration date, we have some very large buys on the 57 strike call contract and the 59 strike call contract, right? Obviously, these are the 60 strike call contract was a while back, and they've been holding full OI, but these are the most recent buys here, right? In the OI here, and they've been holding full, and so, I mean, we're at 51, and maybe we might just blow off into the top here, and form a top by the end of September based on these flows, right? And even just taking a look on the other side, the puts, right? There's barely any put activity here. So this makes me wonder, by the end of September, we could reach $60 and then we can start moving back down, right? But if you do that, and maybe if you come back down to 45 or in between 45 and 38 from October, from let's say the end of September all the way into the end of October, if you go to November 21st, right, there's another crazy, out the money, unusual call options activity. Okay, and that is right here. Okay, this is what we got today, actually. All right, you guys can see that, right? The volume is, someone bought 1,000 contracts on the last strike for November. So so this is kind of interesting to see. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't mind if the price action kind of did this, right? So we essentially top out around 59 to 60, and then we have a very nice blow off the top move where we come back down, retest 45, right? And we come back down, start consolidating here, and then we start to accumulate shares again, and then eventually, by the end of October, we start to slowly come out from 45, and eventually we can start back higher around mid-November or early November, right? And so maybe you can be seeing that 80 strike call contract buyer from November 21st rolling their contracts to next year if that occurs, right? So I really want to see this buyer. I really want to see what they do. I want to see if they held all 1,000 contracts by the end of November, or actually by the end of October, depending on how we act here and how we move on BE. And so yeah, the old break and retest. Yeah, so there has been some really skewed options call activity here, where we see mostly call options activity and very little to none is what I would say. Little to none put options activity here, right? So very, very bullish activity going on with BE. Okay, but hey, I wouldn't mind this at all, right? Really, really good. Okay, so Bloom Energy. This is something that I should have refocused my attention again after April's lows, but I didn't, which is regrettable, since I was looking. I revisited this back in mid-June too, right here, and I was like, it's come back to the consolidation previously formed during this nice massive bull flag before the April dip, but I didn't pay too much attention to it, even though I did see some bullish positioning as well in the options chain too, around the 27 and 25 strike call contracts back then, for August and July, if I remember. No, I think it was just for July. Yeah, but unfortunately I did not see it, so oh well. But hey, now that I am focusing on it, I will not try to take off my eyes on this one, right? But overall, this needs some good consolidation. The RSI has to reset back to quote-unquote normal levels. Okay, I would like to see it come back to 45 and possibly consolidate between this 38 to 45 range. Again, this 45 level is the previous all-time high, and the 38 level is the previous IPO high. Okay, so these are very significant levels that you guys should be having on your BE weekly, daily, monthly time frame charts. Okay. All right, so that is all I have for you guys tonight. Yeah, I mean, hopefully this stream gave you guys a good insight as to what we're looking at in the CFO Swinger Watch Report. If you guys are not a reader of the CFO Swinger Watch Report, and again, if you guys don't know what it is, and if you guys really want to figure out how to become a reader, just take a look on the second link down below in the description box. It's a weekly report that gives you a full rundown of the market price action for the new trading week ahead, and it gives you a fresh list of ideas, swing trade ideas, day trade ideas, depending on whether a day trader or swing trader. But again, it won't matter, because all my ideas, all my swing trade ideas, well, I call it swing trade ideas, hence the report being called CFO Swinger Watch. You guys can still use it as a day trade idea. Okay, that's the beauty of the CFO Swinger Watch Report. Okay, but again, the CFO Swinger Watch Report will give you a complete rundown of the overall market, a top to bottom research weekly report, and give you guys fundamental and technical analysis on individual tickers, and obviously give you guys additional ideas like using the list. All right, I'll give you individual additional ideas for this week, like we saw with TEM, SERV, and MDT, as we've gone over in this stream. All right, so that is it for tonight, guys. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I am doing another stream tomorrow night, so please join me tonight. Tomorrow night at the same time at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that is TBD, because I might have to just do 8:30 p.m. as well. I might have to do an hour later than the usual time. We might have to revert back to the old time for Wednesday. But again, the schedules are being rewritten for now, and I'll give you guys the official live stream dates once I get the schedule completely set and fixed for the rest of this year. Okay, And yes, Joel, thank you so much for that quick review. The newsletter gives me that extra confidence going into the market full show. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, man. All right, guys. So that is it for tonight, guys. Hopefully, again, this stream was very, very helpful and most importantly, applicable. And hopefully this gave you guys kind of a good insight as to what you guys should be looking at for this short trading week and possibly even for the rest of this month, depending on how you guys viewed every single one of my tickers that I went over tonight and whether or not you guys wanted to, use it as a swing trade idea or a day trade idea. Okay. Good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, and good luck tomorrow at market open.